Welcome to Out of the Box Radio with me, your host, Christine Blasdale. Out of the Box Radio is a weekly podcast of audible ear candy dedicated to bringing a fresh perspective on this thing that we call life. And each and every week, we're going to be diving into the topics that matter most with lively conversations on issues such as health, wellness, and transformational healing, all with the goal of creating a better world and becoming a happier human being. I will be your tour guide for this epic adventure, and each and every week we're going to be embarking on a journey with the ultimate goal being transformation to our highest potential. And now, let's get out of the box. Hello everyone, and welcome back to a very special Out of the Box Radio with Christine. I am sitting in the home base of a very, very important institution in my life, Boku Superfoods, and I'm here with the founders and creators of Boku Superfoods, Reno Rollet and Lynn Rollet. I'm so very glad to have you wonderful people on my podcast because I love and adore you, and what you do day in and day out, I think is so important for people. They don't know what I'm talking about right now, but they're going to. So thank you so much for being on Out of the Box with me.
Thank you for having us. And by the way, we love and adore you too, and you know that.
I do.
It's so nice to be here.
Well, let's let the listeners know a little bit about your origin. My whole thing here with this radio podcast is to show people that it's never too late to go after their dreams. It's never too late to make a really big impact and help a lot of people, and being successful as well, and be financially successful and have all those things that we do, love and cherish in our lives. But if you don't mind, let's talk about the origin of Boku Superfoods. How did you first get this incredible company going?
I look back and I'm just kind of amazed over what has happened and how we've really helped a lot of people. But it really started with our son, and our son was 5 years old. We were living in Florida at the time, and he was in public school. And, our first child, and I was very excited to get him out and, going to school. And they had called me aside and they said, we really need to meet with you. Your son's having some issues, paying attention and sitting still in the classroom. And he was like in kindergarten. So, as a new mother, I was all worried, and I took their advice and I said, okay, fine, go ahead and get him tested and do whatever you have to do. And so we had gone through the battery of tests, and then they had the second meeting, and what the school proposed to us, I really couldn't believe it. They basically came out and said that if your son wants to continue in the school, you really need to put him on pharmaceutical drugs, and it would probably be for the rest of his life. And they, suggested that we put him on Ritalin. And I just thought, wow, that is the furthest thing from my mind. I mean, I think he's adorable. He's very creative. He has all these special characters. And to dummy him down on a drug, I was just shocked. And so we definitely did not take their advice. And, coincidence, when you meet someone for a reason, you just don't know why or how. I was out shopping, or someone had referred me to this doctor, and he was a naturopath doctor in Florida. And that's where we lived at the time. So finding this particular doctor who suggested to me a natural solution, and what it was superfoods. And I'd never heard of superfood before.
What is that, a food with a cape on it?
You would like to think, actually now I really think it is. Yeah. But so yeah, these superfoods, and I thought, well, what the heck? Yeah, I'll definitely try it. And it came to our house, and it was very green, and I mixed it up and gave it to our son, and it was just something miraculously happened after that. It just changed our life. So I gave it to our son. I started taking it. I started sharing it with our daughter, my husband, our friends, and our family. And it just seemed to make a big difference in everyone's life. And it really became a passion for me. I just was wanting to go out and, seek and learn all about these ingredients and really find like the absolute best of the best.
Essentially, it for me, I thought we were living healthy. Lynn always took really good care of us. She cooked well, bought fresh food. She was a great cook, and I assumed our diet was really healthy. But when these superfoods came into our lives, it really was transformational. When I saw the difference in my son's behavior, and there was no ambiguity. I mean, the grades were there. You could see his improvement. The phone stopped ringing. The school stopped complaining. We stopped having to go to the school for meetings, and we're like, well, what's going on here? It's not as if he went from 5 years old to 10 and went through this puberty or some, magical physical process. It was the food, and we were feeling amazing, right? I started taking this stuff, and we noticed our skin was clear, and we weren't getting sick, and we had this energy. Like, we were always into exercising, and I would notice going to the gym how I felt. I would take this superfood before I went to the gym, and I noticed I could work out. I could go longer and feel stronger and perform better. And so to me, that was empirical. It was absolutely irrefutable, right? It was like, you take the stuff, you feel amazing. When you're not taking it, you didn't feel as good, right? And that's when, especially, you missed it when you stopped taking it. Yeah, you noticed
after you hadn't taken it for a few days, you're like, oh, I think I forgot to take my superfood.
Yeah, you notice the difference. And so then, as Lynn said, it ignited a passion, and we started researching, these superfoods and these ingredients. Now, keep in mind, we're going back to 1995. I mean, most people had never heard the word superfood. We certainly had never heard the word superfood. So there wasn't a lot of information out there, but we knew essentially we were dealing with plant-based nutrition. We were dealing with ancient superfood secrets, plants. The more we researched, the more we learned. This wasn't some new fad or some new trend, even though back in 1995, it certainly was new to us. But these foods, we learned, had been revered in cultures all over the world for thousands of years, many of them since before the times of Christ. I mean, that's how long they had been treasured, again, in cultures all over the world. So what we had tapped into, again, was something proven, something that had stood the test of time. And while it was new to us, we knew we were really onto something substantial.
And if you don't mind, how did you get to the place of saying, okay, we like how we feel, we love how our children are feeling on these superfoods? What was the catalyst for you to actually create your own brand, the Boku Superfoods? Because, and I'm going to tell the listeners this is just something personal. I myself have been lucky enough to have access to the Boku, the superfood, and the super protein. And I will tell you, it is indeed nutrient dense food that does make you feel much, much better than when you, it's just an easy way. It's a very, very simple way to access all of these nutrients, all these vegetables, all these fruits, all these minerals and nutrients that you could never get. There's no way that you could get this, all in a shopping cart, let alone, pay for it all. So the Boku Superfoods, when did you decide that you were going to go to the venture of saying, okay, let's make our own superfood. Let's make our superfood even more super.
Yeah. So we're on this path of discovery, right? I mean, we had discovered superfoods. We realized the impact that it had on our lives, on the kids' lives, right? And so kind of fast forward, we're years of exploring different foods and combinations of these different superfoods and powders. And then in 2003, I took the CEO post for a big infomercial company. And in 2005, I ended up co-creating what became a historically successful book on natural health. It was called Natural Cures They Don't Want You to Know About. And in 2005, the book was called Natural Cures They Don't Want You to Know About. In 2005, that book made it straight to number one on the New York Times bestsellers list. It stayed there for, 20 some weeks. In fact, the only book in the world that outsold us was Harry Potter. So it was immensely successful. And I found I was surrounded by brilliant minds in health and wellness, nutrition, naturopaths, medical doctors, formulators, herbalists. And so Lynn and I sat down and we said, maybe it's time. The kids are grown. They're in high school. You've been supporting me and been a housewife for so many years. Maybe it's time to fulfill our dream, which was really to create the world's greatest superfood. And, I knew Lynn was capable. She had the time. So we decided to start Boku. And at the time, it was really a mission to create the world's greatest superfood and raise the bar really out of reach. But we didn't know what we were going to call it. We just knew we'd make it the best.
Yeah, how did you get Boku? What does that mean? What does it stand for?
This might sound a bit strange to some people, but at night I get visions, I get messages. And one night, we came up with this idea of we're creating, this amazing superfood. And I woke him up in the middle of the night and I'm like, Reno, I got the name. I know the name. I even know what the logo looks like. And he's like, what? And
it really was the middle of the night. Yeah. Like 4 a.m.
And I said, Boku. The name is Boku.
The formulating took forever. I mean, we were really, really scrutinous about the ingredients and how we created the product itself.
We wanted a true alchemist, someone that really got it and had more, vision behind just coming up with a bunch of things and just throwing them together. Like, we really wanted a thought process. I had researched certain ingredients and I was like, I think these are fabulous. I really, really want these in the formula. And then when we finally met with our formulator, he's like, look, these are really potent ingredients and you have to be careful how you introduce them into someone's diet. And it really needs to be done in a methodical, kind of
and they were expensive. What we found is that the superfoods we had been introduced to, they were great, but they contained a lot of inexpensive fillers, like yeast products and a lot of inexpensive.
That was an eye-opener.
Yeah, and we looked, and once we understood what these ingredients were, we're like, why do they have to be in there? And then it became clear, well, because they're cheap. And we thought, well, that's not what we want. We want the best. So with our formulator, we instructed him, and we laid out the parameters. Look, no fillers, no nonsense, all certified organic, all the most pristine, health-forming, most potent ingredients. And we didn't care what the cost was. We were just like, make it the best superfood possible. Yeah. We'll figure out how to price it and how to market it once that's done.
That was your brilliant move, to not look at the cost and just look at what absolutely must be in the best superfood around, what those ingredients are, and then it's almost like, okay, we'll build the Frankenstein, we'll build him, and then we'll figure out how we're gonna, put him out into this town, we'll figure all that stuff out. Going to the main, the thing that I love the most, like I have to have the superfood. Go into, if you don't mind, the ingredients that are in this superfood. This is a powder, and in particular, what I'm talking about right now is a 1 month supply. We've got the bag. I'm sure we've got the bag right now. You can't see it because we're not on television. But for our listeners who are not familiar, you don't even have to say what these things do, but just go through some of the ingredients that you have meticulously put together with extremely high grade quality ingredients. Just what some of those things are in the superfoods that you guys are offering.
Well, okay, first, what I'd like to do, Christine, because I think this is important and it's a big part of who we are and why I believe we're successful. When we were in this sort of incubation process, we created our mission statement. We went through the basics, right? So we established what our core values are. We had our brand and our ID. And next was the mission statement. And I think it really underscores, again, the foundation for our success. Our mission statement is to positively impact the highest number of people possible with the healing power of whole food, organic nutrition. And I know it's a mouthful, right? But from our perspective, we experienced these superfoods, and what we saw in the way of transformation was so unbelievable. I mean, honestly, I'm like, Lynn and I are both the kind of people, when we hear a great tune, we want to share it. When we check out a great restaurant, we want to turn our friends onto it. We're all about sharing. And when we experienced the profound difference that these superfoods made in our bodies, in our children, and our friends, we were ignited with this passion to share. And that's what it's all about. And the fact that we've been entrepreneurs all our lives and started up so many different companies from the time we first met, selling fireworks and selling Christmas trees. And it was really all about making money. this was the first time that we decided to put helping other people and sharing the amazing secrets of these superfoods with other people out in front. And I really think that forms the foundation of our success. So I really wanted to point that out. But as far as the foods itself, this superfood that we're talking about, our Boku Superfood is our flagship product. It's a broad spectrum blend of 55 ingredients. So we're talking about the most pristine, the most health forming, the most potent plant-based foods on the planet. So if we start from the beginning, right, we're all hearing the word superfood, the term. You can't open a magazine or turn on the television. But to keep it really simple, a superfood is a plant-based food with extraordinary nutritional potency. So these are fruits and vegetables we've heard of, like broccoli and spinach and kale and berries, of course, and fruits that we're familiar with, but also very exotic superfoods, and that's what we're dealing with here. So we have a blend of sprouts, a blend of greens, a blend of berries, a blend of mushrooms. In fact, when I say a blend, there's multiple. I mean, again, 55 ingredients. So when you think about, for example, our mushrooms, I'm such a huge fan of fungi right now, mushrooms. I mean, there's so much incredible breakthrough science out there. Dr. Paul Stamets is, to me, he's a hero. We sat on the floor to listen to him speak about the power of mushrooms to heal, to fight disease. We have a blend of 14 ancient, medicinal, functional mushrooms. These foods are so potent. And again, not created in some laboratory somewhere or a chemical factory. Yeah. These are gifts from nature. They're all here for us, right? They have been celebrated, revered in these ancient cultures for thousands of years, most of these foods. The problem is that it's become all about money. I mean, let's face it, right?
Yeah,
the food industries, the big companies, it's all about shareholder value. It's all about profits. They're really not focusing on what's good for people. And somehow in our arrogance, we've decided that we can do it better, that we can add chemicals and take away, we can mimic these beautiful natural ingredients and do better. And the fact is, that's not the case. When we go back to nature and we understand the premise, the basic fundamental concept that food is fuel.
Food is medicine.
Food is medicine, exactly.
Right?
Yeah, the Hippocrates, right? The father of medicine, his mantra, let food be thy medicine. And we've moved away from that. It's really exciting for Lynn and I to see that finally we're moving back toward it. This isn't a new trend. While people call Boku Superfood the future of food because of the fact that it's concentrated nutrition, because we're dealing with beautiful, fresh, natural, organic superfoods that are harvested, gently dried at low temperature, and powdered. And what you end up with, in the case of this superfood, 1 tablespoon of our superfood is the daily serving size. There is more nutrition in that 1 tablespoon than the average person will consume in several days.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's what we're dealing with. And that's why people call it the future of food. Because
whoa, say that again. 1 tablespoon of Boku Superfood is the equivalent, or what the average person has.
More nutrition.
More nutrition.
More nutrition than the average person will consume in several days. And think about it. It's because we're eating garbage.
Yeah.
We subsist on a diet of processed crap.
Yeah.
Man-made derivatives. When you walk into a grocery store these days, bear this in mind, 80% of the food items that you see on the shelf didn't even exist 100 years ago.
Right.
These are all man-made, chemically synthesized derivatives, versions of natural food products that are brightly colored and flavored artificially to attract people. And it's garbage. There's no nutrition in the food that we're consuming. We know that we need to eat more organic fruits and vegetables, right? We know they're good for us. We've been hearing it all our lives. The problem is, for many of us, we don't have the time.
We don't have the time.
They're expensive.
Right. They're expensive. And there's no way. I mean, you have in this 55 ingredients. Yeah. And not just 55, not ingredients, 55 high quality ingredients, certified organic. I'm looking at the back here. And it was naturopathically formulated. So you have a professional formulator. There's super greens, land, aquatic, and grass, 11 super fruits, 7 super sprouts, antioxidants, enzymes, which are really important. I just discovered that today, how important enzymes are, because you can have food, and if you don't have the proper enzymes, your body isn't really assimilating it properly anyway.
Enzymes are coming from the soil, and our soil's
So
depleted
depleted.
and over-processed.
And we need those.
Well, and we're destroying the enzymes in the process.
Yeah.
All of the food is homogenized, pasteurized. It's chemically
Genetically modified.
synthesized. It's genetically modified, and the enzymes are destroyed. And that's the reason, we have such a problem. There's an epidemic of gut health.
Yeah.
People can't digest the crap that we're eating,
Right.
and so we're getting sick. We're getting fat. We're getting
Right.
diseased. It's actually horrible. The state of nutrition right now in America and all over the world is appalling.
Between the obesity that is here in the United States and the type 2 diabetes, it's absolutely shocking to me. That's what I love. Again, that's what I love about the superfood, because
and it
you
has
have it.
probiotics.
You have it all in here. You have the
I feel
probiotics.
it's a great
gluten-free.
foundation.
Oh, it's an incredible foundation. And like with me, I'm really busy. I'm super busy. I don't have time to do a whole lot. And what I found so convenient about it was I could take, a scoop of the superfood, throw it in some, you could throw it in juice, you can throw it in almond milk, you can throw it just in water and shake it up, and you're good to go. That's all you have to do.
We say
That's all you have
it's
to do.
Superfood nutrition that's super simple and super affordable. You don't need a machine. You don't need a blender or a juicer. It doesn't take electricity. It literally takes seconds. You drop the scoop in the shaker bottle, which is right here. You add your favorite liquid, as you said, water, juice, almond milk, rice milk, hemp milk. Shake it up. It literally takes seconds, and drink it down. It's in your body. You'll flood your cells with incredibly potent, vital, plant-based nutrition. And here's the thing. Ask yourself, like today, you look at the average diet, right? We talk about SAD, right? The average American diet. It's so unbelievably sad. And you look at the foods that we're consuming, and I invite people to pause and just ask yourself, how do you feel when you're eating this nutrient-depleted, fattening sludge? How do you feel, right? Guilty, heavy on your feet, foggy, groggy.
And you crave more of the crap.
Because people don't understand hunger. Hunger, essentially, is your body signaling to you its desire for fuel. It takes fuel, just like any other machine. Your car, you have to go to the gas station. You can't fill up with soda pop, or you're not going to go very far. You have to put the proper gasoline. The better the gasoline, the better the car runs. It's the same thing with people. We need fuel to perform, to live, to love, to work, right? To compete. And Boku Superfood is that. It's pure fuel. And when it enters your cells, you feel the difference, right? You can feel the energy, the clarity, right? That desire to get up and go.
How do you feel when you take a bunch of vitamins? I mean, do you take vitamins?
I do. I do some. You're right. You're right.
Some are great, but for some people, they'll come and they'll put out like a baggie full.
Yeah.
It's like, wow.
I don't
And they start
like
popping.
the pills.
They start popping pills.
I don't like. Here's the thing. I like to drink whatever nutrition that I'm going to intake,
Or eat,
because
yeah.
because I can make it taste good. And this is the beautiful thing. Like with the Boku Superfoods and the super protein, which we're going to talk about now as well. It tastes good.
Yep.
It doesn't taste like a lawnmower bag. It doesn't taste. It's something that I look forward to. And I do it with a blend in a smoothie, like with, raspberries and blackberries. I'm just a total berry freak. So I like to have that combination. But I know that if I have my superfood, in the morning or midday, whatever, I know that I'm set for the whole day. And even if I don't get to eat a proper meal later on, I know that I had at least one really good, solid meal. And it gives me enough nutrition, like you were saying. It gives me more nutrition than most people have in a few days.
Yeah, and to Lynn's point earlier, because, look, we travel all over the world. We shake the hands of these farmers. We were just in Peru a couple months ago and had the honor of working with these people at 16,000 feet that grow our maca, which is actually in our superfood as well. And, the difference is I've been around, I've been in these beautiful exotic places. I have never seen a pill or a capsule or a tablet growing on a bush or a tree anywhere. And the fact is, there is a place for these man-made supplements, But sadly, much like what's happened in the food industry, there's a lot going on that's not so desirable, in our opinion, in the man-made supplement industry as well. And you can do the research. I mean, I've picked up the phone and called. And when you find out the source of some of these nutrients, it's appalling. I mean, we're talking about, minerals from rocks, ground up rocks and scrap metal, honestly. Vitamins from cow livers that are loaded with pesticides and steroids and hormones. You don't want that stuff in your body. And it comes down to, just like Lynn said earlier, take those pills, pause, and ask yourself, how do I feel? Do you notice a difference? When you consume nutrient-dense organic superfoods like Boku, you feel the difference. And from our perspective, I mean, that's what's ignited this passion in us, is we feel amazing.
You want other people.
We want other people to feel their best. You deserve to feel your best.
And that's why I wanted to have you on this show, on the podcast, on Out of the Box, because my whole goal with every single show, be it health, wellness, transformation, finding your soulmate, whatever. I want everyone to have the most amazing life possible. And you cannot get up and function and love your children and do all those things and go out and change the world in a positive way if you are not fueling yourself. Like you said earlier, you have to put the proper fuel in your body. And there is, and I've seen a lot of stuff, my 13 years. I've tried a lot of different things. And I will gladly say that the Boku Superfood is probably, it's the one thing that I want to make sure that I always have with me. I get panicked, because I call you. I get panicked if I don't have it. And when I travel, oh my God, when I go to the East Coast, I make sure that I always carry the Boku Superfoods and the protein, because at a hotel and when you're stressed and the flight and the germs on the plane and all of that, it's so wonderful to know that I have it. It's so easy because you just throw the powder right into the shaker bottle. You put a little bit of just liquid in it. Doesn't matter, whatever you want to put in it, and you're good to go.
You know what you're describing? I'm sorry to interrupt, but keep in mind what we're dealing with in Boku Superfood are what are called phytonutrients. Now, science has only just scratched the surface of these incredible nutrients. And to break it down, phyto is the Greek word for plant. Nutrients. So these are nutrients that come from plants. Our daughter Ryan came up with a way to remember it, and it's really simple, and it really fires directly at this point that you're making. They're like bodyguards. Phytonutrients, a way to remember them is they fight for you. They power immunity. They fight against illness and disease and invasive organisms. They fight to keep you happy and feeling your best. And you're only going to get them from Mother Nature's plants. And that's the beauty. We're talking about an absolute flood of these phytonutrients in Boku Superfood. That's why you crave them and you desire them and you miss them when you don't have them, because you need them. They're your little buddies. They're your little bodyguards to help you get through life and really feel and perform your best.
I'm going to because I'm looking at the list of ingredients, I'm just going to go through just a couple of them in the super greens that are it's in the superfood. Young barley grass juice, nettle leaf, there's broccoli, spinach, kale, cabbage, parsley. Then you have the algae, the spirulina, the kelp, the chlorella. You have maca root. You have all those mushrooms you were talking about, reishi,
14 of them.
chaga, 14 of them. Then you get into like the sprouts, the super sprouts, flax sprouts, pumpkin sprouts, broccoli sprouts, cauliflower sprouts, kale sprouts, cabbage sprouts, red clover sprouts. And then you start going into the super fruit, the lucuma fruit, the goji berry juice, hawthorn berry, blackberry, my favorite, tart cherry, oh my God, pomegranate, blueberry, acai berry, strawberry, raspberry, cranberry. Then you're going into all of these other, the probiotics that you were talking about and the enzymes. So it is a full food source.
We call it a broad spectrum blend. And I just want to point out, sometimes it's easier. There's so much in here, but I really want to emphasize it's not about the quantity, even though there are 55.
No, it's the quality.
We only source the finest. And sometimes it's easier to describe what's not in it, okay? No gluten, no whey, no soy, no dairy,
no GMO.
No GMOs, no fillers, nothing but nutrient-dense, health-forming superfoods, and they're all doctor formulated. They're all certified, USDA certified, organic, kosher, and vegan. We're dealing with the absolute best. This is our mission. It's our passion. We only deal in the best, and that's why we're so excited about sharing. There have been so many companies in the 8 years that we've been on the market with Boku. We started, as Lynn pointed out, from our dream, our vision. We're now feeding tens of thousands of people in 65 countries all over the world. And the phone calls, the emails, the testimonials that we get are honestly what drive us to do what we do. It's such an honor. When I say that we love that what we do, it's the passion that we have is fueled by the difference that we're making in people's lives with these amazing secrets. We didn't invent them. These are gifts for all of us to enjoy.
No,
They're
but
here.
you went out and you did all of the hard work of, the whole process, and I've been to the facility in the back and how immaculate it is. And the attention to detail that you have, and you've traveled the world to get sort of like it, because you could never do this just in your own backyard, living in whatever town you're in, even the access to supermarket or an organic supermarket or your farmer's market, you might get 5 or 10 of these items if you could find them.
And they're seasonal, and if they're not seasonal,
exactly.
They're grown in a hot house.
You guys have traveled the entire world. It's almost like you've gone around the world and you've taken the very best, most nutrient-dense foods from different parts of the globe and brought them together and put them in this bag, and then given people who have no access to real healthy food, really, you've made it available to them, and that's what is so exciting. And like I said, and I know about athletes, professional athletes. I know that you guys.
We're fueling world champions in multiple sports. Again, we're so honored. And I want to underscore again, it's the purity. We test every single ingredient. There's a lot of garbage out there. Crap that's coming from parts of the world where the environment is polluted. Metals, right? There's tons of heavy metal toxicity issues,
which we do test for.
We test extensively for heavy metals. We test extensively for bacterial toxicity, not only with our third-party vendors, but also in-house. We're very proud. We've worked hard over the years to develop our own FDA-approved facility, so we're doing this in-house. We're importing these ingredients from all over the world before they even make it in the door. They have to be tested multiple times. So that's the beauty of Boku. Nothing comes between Mother Nature and you. And when you're dealing with Boku, you're getting only the best.
Yes, Lynn.
So I just wanted to say that, part of my job, which, I love my job. I love everything about the company. But one of the things that I do take pride in is I work with my formulator, and we source these ingredients. We have specific people, a lot of farmers, and that we support. But when these are harvested, all these fruits and vegetables have different, they have seasons when they're harvested. And that's the beauty behind harvesting at a particular time when things are the most potent, and then freeze drying it or, air drying it right at that time to preserve those enzymes and all those really great nutrients.
Like the sprouts.
Yeah.
The sprouts have a great story. Why do we deal in sprouts? Because at that time when the sprout is so loaded with the potential to create a whole plant, we capture it.
Is that why sprouts are good for you?
They're ready to explode. They have the potential to form. And I'll tell you that
most sprouts, they taste, again, they don't taste very good. What I like about this, the whole fact, is that you take this stuff that doesn't normally taste that hot, and you put it into a powdered form where it actually does taste good because you have all the different fruits and all those different things. So you don't taste that sprout by itself. But the sprout has... It's the beginnings of
a big plant.
The potential to create an entire plant,
and that's
when the enzyme potential, the nutritional potential is at its absolute maximum.
You just blew my mind.
No, it's and good. Enjoy that, because it blows our mind every day, and that's why we do what we do. It's an honor. It's such a pleasure to do what we do because we understand the impact, the difference that it makes in people's lives.
Now, I'm also sitting here in front of another one of your products, another bag of something that I absolutely really, really love because I don't get enough of this normally either, and it's helped me quite a bit. The Boku Super Protein. Now, let's talk about protein. Why do we need protein? Why? Don't we get it from meat and meat and fish and dairy? Well,
we do, but once again, it's the sad state of nutrition. It's the sad state of food quality, especially here in America. Protein is absolutely essential. It's the building block of life. It's in the inner and outer membrane of every cell in the human body. In fact, even the word protein comes from the Greek word proteus, which means first, number one, of utmost importance. And it really is. A lot of people think of protein for muscles, right? Okay,
that's all they think about. That's when you usually go, well, you're not working out at the gym all the time. Why do you need protein?
Right, and a lot of people, it's just sort of one term that describes all of nutrition. Like, I'm going to have my protein shake, and like that's going to. But the point is that while we know we need protein, as we age, we need it more and more. From about the age of 40 and on, we begin to naturally lose muscle mass, so we actually need to consume more protein.
I'm raising my hand.
Exactly. The difficulty is, again, quality, right? So we can't eat steaks the way we used to. I mean, most people turn to animal sources. We get our protein from beef, chicken, and fish. And we like to start with a question. So when you're making this decision and you're about to choose your protein source, just pause and ask yourself this question. What did what I'm eating eat? It's interesting, right? So say you're going to have a steak. So you go, yeah, what did the cow eat? Was that cow raised in beautiful natural pastures under natural sunlight and natural rain, feeding on beautiful natural grass? Chances are not. Chances are it came from a factory. They have cattle factories, exactly, where they're raising these cattle on genetically modified grain, which is really dangerous, really garbage. And they're injecting these poor cows with bovine growth hormone, with steroids, with hormones, with antibiotics. Whatever's going in that cow, whatever that cow ate, you're going to eat. Same thing with chicken. Was the chicken free range? Was it fed natural organic feed? Or was it, raised in a factory where it was, fed genetically modified grain, injected with hormones, growth hormones,
kept
right?
in the dark.
Kept in the dark, never seeing the light of day, in cruel, inhumane environments. Absolutely terrible.
The horrific conditions, just knowing the fear that's the other thing, is that with the animal protein and the animals, the fear that is embedded into them as well. From all of that. So we do know that protein is important, and there are so many different proteins out there.
Fish is the last one. I'm just going to mention that because a lot of people now opt for fish more than ever. And sadly, ask yourself, what did what I'm eating eat? Where did that fish come from? What was it fed? Did it come from beautiful, pristine oceans, or was it farm raised where it was subject to pesticide runoff and fed genetically modified? Now they're actually genetically modifying fish. So it's more and more difficult to find quality sources of protein. And even if you turn to, which more and more of us are doing, plant-based proteins, a lot of it is soy, right? So the sad news is up to 95% of the soy grown in America today is genetically modified. Once again, no GMOs, right? So with Boku Super Protein, this is a triple vegan source protein. When we introduced this protein several years ago, we were the first to do a vegan blend, a triple source vegan blend of protein. So our protein comes from beautiful, natural, organic sprouted brown rice, organic red dulse, which is a beautiful plant. It's a seaweed that grows in the ocean, which is exceptionally high in protein. And then finally, cranberry. So we have, believe it or not, the seed of the cranberry.
Cranberries have protein?
Yeah, the seed is extraordinarily high in protein. So we have 3 vegan sources. Now, with these 3 sources, we arrive at a complete amino acid profile. Now, without getting technical, what that means is that it's a full protein and it's available, it's assimilated with remarkable efficiency. So it's in the cells very, very quickly, without gas, without bloating, right? Without a lot of the side effects that you'll get from other protein sources. So Boku Super Protein, and we rounded out with some other amazing ingredients, organic Vermont maple syrup, which, believe it or not, is also a superfood, really, really high in third stage minerals. We have organic vanilla, which gives it a beautiful flavor.
So that makes it taste really yummy.
Oh, and lucuma. You mentioned lucuma earlier. Now, that really, lucuma deserves a minute because it happens to be one of the most potent plants. It's a fruit, a beautiful fruit, almost similar, I guess, in some ways to a mango, but it has what's called ORAC, the highest ORAC value of any fruit known. It's ORAC is it's an acronym. It means oxygen radical absorbance capacity. Really, it defines or describes its potential as an antioxidant. We've heard that term before, right? So while it's an incredibly potent superfood, lucuma, It's also, and this is where it gets really interesting, the number one flavor of ice cream in Peru, which is where we source a lot of these ingredients. It is so delicious. So we use lucuma ideally or primarily because it's an incredibly potent superfood, but also it happens to be so creamy and so delicious. So this is an unbelievably potent 18 grams of protein per serving. Now, once again, at Boku, it's more about the quality than the quantity, but 18 grams is a lot of protein. It's roughly the equivalent of 3 eggs. But again, based on the amino acid profile, it's in your cells very quickly. It's assimilated very efficiently. The taste is amazing, and it's the same as the superfood. You take this protein, you can make a smoothie, or you can simply drop the scoop in your shaker bottle, add the superfood to it, and you have basically a complete meal, right? But you shake it up and drink it down, and you're done.
That's what I do.
Yeah, it's actually a lot of people, our customers have called, and they have some elderly parents, and they're so worried that they're not eating, and a lot of them don't have caretakers, and they've come over and giving them this shake, and so it's so easy for them to just drink it as opposed to taking a pill, and they feel very confident and comfortable that they're getting a lot of nutrition. And we know from our friends that have elderly parents that have been ill, just taking it, I mean, look, when you feed your body, it knows how to take, it's real smart.
Yeah.
Your body's really smart. It knows how to take care of itself.
And then you are forced to listen, right? Because we make these bad choices all the time, but there's no mistaking when you feel amazing. It's like a kick in the pants. It's like all of a sudden you're like, wow, I feel really good. I want to get up off the couch. I actually want to go take a walk. I want to go to the gym. That's what happens when you fuel your body. You want to get off the couch. It's really, like Lynn said earlier, it is the foundation for a completely new life. I mean, once you start fueling your body, the changes take place, and it's unbelievable.
Then you start feeling good enough to, like you said, to get up, to take a walk, to walk the dog, to move. But when you're loading yourself up with high sugar, high fat, these, chemical-laden foods that taste, because our taste buds have changed as well. We think that they taste good. Right. But then you sit on the couch watching Netflix for 10 hours because you literally cannot get up off of the couch. Your body, I think that your body kind of goes into a state of, oh my God, what the hell did you just do to me? Toxic overload. And I just need to sit here and if I can get up to go to the bathroom, that'll be good enough. And that's the state of so many people in this country. And that's why I believe that the work that you guys do is so important. And I wanted to get as many people to find out about Boku Superfood and to find out about you, the wonderful family-run business. And I wanted to let people know through this podcast about this super nutrition that is available to them. Now, saying all that, we have a really cool offer for our listeners. We have something that is very, very special. It's not available to anybody else. It's only available to out-of-the-box radio listeners. And this is a 1-month supply, right, of both the superfood that we've been talking about, this nutrient-dense superfood, and the super protein powder. And you're going to also throw in that really cool shaker bottle so you can actually have this to go immediately once this gets delivered. And this gets delivered right away when people do the order, when they place the order?
We're shipping all over the world from our facility in Ventura, California. The minute you hit that website and complete your order, we get it and we ship it that same day.
Fantastic. Now this, we're going to call it the Superfood Super Starter Kit. And it retails, the superfood, the super protein, and the shaker bottle, everything retails for $150. This is a 1-month supply. But Reno and Lynn are making available to listeners right now, today, not $150, but $69.95. So $69.95 will get you started on your... I believe that once folks get this in their system and they try it for 1 month, they will be hooked, and not bad hooked. They will be hooked on feeling good. They will be hooked on having the energy to be with their kids. They're having the energy to do all those things, and that's what this show is about. It's about getting people out of the box. Get out of the box. Get up off of your couch. There's so much life for you. There's so much love for you out there, and we have to feel good. We have to feel good. We have to feed our bodies the nutrition that it's craving for. It's craving for this stuff. And that's what I noticed the first time, because my friend Frank I was at the beach and he said, hey, I got to tell you about my friends, Reno and Lynn, and there's this Boku, and he had a little bottle of this stuff, and he was shaking it up, and he goes, I want you to try this. And he let me try it, and I was like, my eyes just like went, pow! Like,
that's the effect it has.
Because it's
People
not.
say their eyebrows lift.
It doesn't. You don't get. It's not a jacked up high like caffeine.
No stimulants.
It is no stimulant. It's just a feeling of like home. It's like that's what I want. That's what I need. And you did an incredible job of making it taste good. So listeners, if you want to take advantage of this, again, this is not available anywhere else. It's the Boku Superfood Super Starter Kit, 1 month supply of not only the Boku Superfood, but you're also going to get the Super Protein, triple source vegan protein powder, and the shaker bottle. Again, this entire package retails for $150, but you're getting it for $69.95. And the website, it's bokusuperfood.com
/ Christine.
Ah.
Because we love you.
Because we love you. Because it's easy for people to remember.
That too.
So it's bokusuperfood.com / Christine. And we'll give that out again in just a little bit. For $69.95, you're going to get a month's supply of goodness, and it's going to jumpstart you. And I hope that you guys take advantage of that. Again, it is a huge savings because it retails for $150. Out of the Box Radio listeners get it for $69.95, and it's bokusuperfood.com / Christine. I am so excited because I want to have a lot of people get started on this journey. It's been, 2 years, 3 years?
That we've
Since
we started working with you.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
An amazing difference we've
Yeah.
made. Yeah, here in Los Angeles, in the greater Los Angeles area.
People,
Unreal.
so many people now know about Boku, and I'm just grateful that I've been able to have the mechanism to get that information out, you know?
Sure.
That's the most important thing. And we're reaching a different audience with this podcast, too. We're reaching a really wonderful audience that are seeking it out. They're seeking out the information. They want to have a better life. They want to have it all.
They want to feel good.
They want to feel
and
good.
we deserve to feel our best.
Yeah.
And we go back to the choices that we're making. Nutrition is a choice. We're led to believe that these choices we make every day are good for us, and they're really not. I mean, many of us saw, it was 2 weeks ago, front page USA Today. The federal government is urging us to please cut back on sugar consumption. They estimate on average we're consuming 80 pounds of processed refined sugar a year. Think about a 4 or 5 pound bag of sugar. 80 pounds a year of I believe
average.
That's on average. It's obviously a great deal higher for the number of people that are obese out there, which it's estimated is 27% of us. That's more than 1 in 4 Americans are obese. Now, think about that. We believe sugar is arguably the number 1 drug in America. It's incredibly toxic. It's at the root of every chronic disease known to man, excessive consumption of sugar. And I'm no scientist, but it's fascinating. Sugar basically consist of 2 molecules, fructose and glucose. Well, glucose, when you consume sugar, goes right to work. It starts fueling muscles, fueling your brain, etc., right? Fructose, on the other hand, goes straight to the liver. The liver has no choice but to convert that fructose into, guess what? Fat. So you ask yourself, you look in the mirror, so many of us, that 62% of us that are overweight, 27% of us here in America that are obese. When we look in the mirror, ask yourself, once again, pause. You deserve to give yourself the time. Ask yourself the question, are you really happy with what you see? Chances are probably not. Are you happy with how you feel? Chances are probably not. There are solutions, real, sustainable solutions.
Yeah.
I just really want to say that it's baby steps. Like, I like every once in a while, I like French fries. I like potato chips. I'm not more of a salty eater. But when you do one thing, baby step, do one thing a day good. I think you'll really just feel the difference. I rather, under promise and over deliver. And I really think that's what Boku does for you. I mean,
well, it is. It's that one thing that you can do consistently.
Yeah.
If you commit to yourself, I'm just going to flood my cells with beautiful, organic, plant-based nutrition once a day. It's so simple. It's incredibly affordable. If you combine the 2 of these, especially at this price, the superfood and the protein, it's going to cost you less than a cup of coffee at your local cafe, certainly less than some of the garbage that you're going to pick up at a drive-through window. And the difference when you flood your cells with this beautiful plant-based nutrition, and not only how your body is going to react, but how you feel, right? And I agree with Lynn. It's that one little thing. It is about baby steps. It's about creating that foundation. And by the way, when you flood your cells with that kind of plant-based nutrition, what happens? You satisfy your hunger.
Bingo.
You're not hungry.
That's the foundation.
And then you
You're
don't
answering the
overeat.
call. You
Yeah.
won't overeat. Hunger goes away. You stop making those bad choices, and you have now provided the absolute foundation for proper weight management.
But when you eat those things that are high in the sugar, you have that immediate, you feel satisfied for a bit, and then you have that crash, and then you're hungry again, and you're going to, be eating things. I know that it sets me off in a spiral when I start to eat like that. But that's why I try and start the morning with Boku, because I know that I'm already flooding my system, and whatever happens throughout the day, if I have a cup of coffee later, whatever, I know that I'm set at least, and it sets you on a good barometer. It sets you on a good on a good path.
That's right. Now I just want to say it's a quick, and I wish this show was 3 hours because we could talk forever, and I love spending this time with you. But there's a great experiment that I welcome your listeners to try at home, because it helps to understand. It helps for people to understand hunger. Okay, so the next time you feel hungry, which again is your body signaling to you its need, its desire for fuel, for nutrition, go to the cupboard, grab some nutrient-depleted processed food. I don't care. Maybe some pasta noodles, right?
Macaroni and cheese.
Or some mac and
Macaroni
cheese,
cheese, okay.
And fix it up on the stove and eat it, right? And then again, give yourself that pause and ask yourself, how do I feel? And you're going to notice what'll happen. You'll feel full, right? You're going to be full because you've just consumed a big plate of food, but you'll start craving maybe something sweet or something salty, right? You go through this whole cycle because what's happened is you filled your body. But keep in mind, your body does not want to be full. Your body needs to be fueled. There's a huge difference.
Yeah.
So while you filled your body begins searching for the nutrition, the fuel that it craves to function, and it's not there. There is no nutrition in that mac and cheese or those pasta noodles and sauce out of a jar. And so what happens? The hunger alarm sounds again, and you eat again. So you get full again, but the body is still not satisfied. There's a huge difference between being full and being satisfied or being fueled. So instead, you try that part of the experiment, and you'll understand right away why you're on that cycle of improper weight management. Next time, grab a scoop of Boku Superfood, one little scoop. Throw it in the shaker, mix it up with pure water, coconut water, almond milk, rice milk, shake it up, drink it down. One little scoop in 6 or 8 ounces of liquid. Then do the same thing. Pause and ask yourself, how do I feel?
Yeah.
You'll be astounded. You won't even believe that your hunger will be completely satisfied. Why? Because you have answered the call. You've flooded your cells with the fuel, the nutrition that your body needs, and the hunger goes away.
55 nutrient-dense ingredients, and that's just in the superfood alone. And what Lynn and Reno are offering are not only the superfood, but the super protein as well in this amazing package. We're going to give out the information again. If you want to take advantage of it, again, you're going to get a 1-month supply of it's the Superfood Super Starter Kit. So you're going to get a whole kit here. You're getting the superfood, the super protein, the shaker bottle thrown in as well. It retails for $150, and you're going to get it for $69.95. And it's not, you can't just call up or do anything like that. You have to go specifically to this web address. It's bokusuperfood.com/Christine, and you'll be able to order there. And I suggest that you get a couple of these starter kits. Why? Because once you start consuming the superfood and the protein, and you start feeling good, and you have incredible energy, you're going to have people in your household, your friends, they're going to want I know because it's happened to me. People start wanting your superfood. It's the Superfood Super Starter Kit. Again, it's $69.95, not $150, by going to bokusuperfood.com/Christine. I am so very excited about getting this food into people's bodies right away. We only have a little bit of time left, and I want to leave that with you both. you have the mic to say whatever you want. It can be related to the Boku Superfood. It can be related just to anything at all. What you want to put out there to the world, to our listeners, what you want to give them as your sort of your last words here in this program.
I would like for the listener at home to keep in mind this essential, fundamental fact. Food is fuel. When you fill your body with these nutrient-depleted, fattening, empty calories, which many of us do on any given day, you're not going to feel your best. You're not going to be your healthiest. And you deserve to feel your best. You deserve to be your absolute healthiest. When you consume nutrient-dense, organic superfoods like Boku, it will unlock this amazing potential. And that's what we're experiencing with our customers in 65 countries all over the world. Again, the emails, the phone calls that we get that fill us with joy. And we don't take credit for it. It's a mission for us to share. These are beautiful secrets that were left here on this planet by Mother Nature for us. All we do as a company is commit to that quality, commit to our mission of going out and sourcing the best of the best, bringing them back, blending them according to our on-staff naturopathic medical doctor so that we can share them with your listeners, with people all over the world. You deserve to feel your best. We believe that Boku Superfood, if you include this as part of your daily routine, you'll be astounded at the difference that it makes.
Mm-hmm. I have an approach, I guess, more as a mother, or, if you're a caretaker in your own home or decision maker on, what you're going to feed your family. I really feel that you have an obligation to, somehow get this into your family's life. And, whether you have an elderly parent that you want to mix it up in some applesauce and have them take a bite of it, or your children that they like chocolate, you kind of sneak it into their diet and put it in some chocolate almond milk and, tell them it's this great, it's a great smoothie, put a banana in it. But there's so many ways of, getting this into your family's diet. And I really feel that you have this obligation to at least try this and really try to experience it yourself and have your own stories that I would love to hear about.
Very well said. That was perfect. That was perfect. That was so well said, and I couldn't have say it any better. So I'm not even going to add to that. I just want to thank you both so much for all of the work that you do and the lives that you're changing, and the lives that you're changing that you don't even know about. I know people email you and they call you, but there's people that are doing so much better, and their health, they're going to live longer lives and be with their loved ones longer than what maybe they, the path that they were going down. And that's because of the work that you do. That's huge. So I want to thank you so much for all of that work. And thank you for being my guest on Out of the Box Radio. I'm so happy that you guys.
Thank you, Christine.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
this was fun.
I love you. I love you.
Love you
I love
too.
you, and I love you.
Love you too.
And I love my listeners. I love our listeners. We're out of time right now, so we have to say goodbye. But we're going to give out that web address again really quickly if you're interested. It's the 1 month supply. It's the Boku Superfood Super Starter Kit. Again, you get the superfood, the super protein, the free shaker bottles. Throw it in. It's $150 retail value. You get it for $69.95, and it's available at bokusuperfood.com/Christine. And want to remind everybody to tune in next week for another episode of Out of the Box Radio. I'm here at Boku headquarters. Just want to say again, thank you, Reno and Lynn Rollet, so much for all the work you do. And as I always say at the end of the show, please remember to always think outside of the box. Until next time.